Andalusia Marine, located in Andalusia, Alabama, your express, all-weld stick steering, Polarcraft, Starcraft, veranda pontoon dealer. One call heating, air, and refrigeration, Mr. Stephen Dubb, air conditioning guy you can trust. RMC Mechanical Contractors, located in Chelsea, Alabama. Give us a call for all your industrial contracting needs. Styler Arms, located in Bessemer, Alabama. You can also pick these rifles up at Simmons Sporting Goods. That is a Steyr Scout in that picture. I've been hunting with a pro hunter for about 30 years, guy. One of the finest rifles made. Pick one up today, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Alpha Plumbing, Mr. D. Robinson. He's been with us since day one. Call him for any of your plumbing needs, a plumbing guy you can trust. CT Ward Power Sports, Camden, Alabama on Highway 28. Your Excel center console, side console, golf your pontoon, Hustler Lawnmower, and Mercury and Yamaha service dealer. Power brakes. If you want to get your total boat control under control, get you a set of these. Give old Chad Clifton a call. www.mypowerbrakes.com.
Oh.
All right, everybody. Welcome to CrappieKast. We are live. We already got 20 people jumped on here. You know myself, you know John, and Jessica's busy doing what, John? What was you saying?
They're homecoming week at Creek School, and they're doing they decorate. They don't do floats there. They do a door.
I got you. Cool.
And if you're going to decorate, Jessica gets super excited.
That's awesome. And those two guys on the bottom, that's Jonathan Wyatt Phillips. They just came in third in the Mr. Crappie Invitational, which is a big deal around these parts. Congratulations. Y'all doing all right, guys?
Doing great.
Yep.
I hear you, Wyatt. I hear you.
Yep.
That's awesome. Let's see. We got people tuned in. Like I said, there's 33 people, Wyatt. You bringing the crowd now. I hear you. I hear you, buddy.
Well, so excited having Wyatt. You're the first young man we've had on the show. We're excited about it. Miss Jessica, my wife, she's disappointed she didn't get to do this tonight. She really wanted to be on here and talk to you.
Yep. Oh, Wyatt. How long's Wyatt been fishing with you, Jonathan? Since what age did he really start fishing?
That's a good question for my wife. This cat now, I got a crazy cat back here. So I knew he's going to wait for the show to come on. So it's probably too early to put a kid in the boat. I put it like that.
I understand.
I know he was in there when he was 3.
There you go. That's awesome.
As early as he could talk, he was talking about fishing. I promise you.
Jonathan, he's been in an ACC Crappie Sticks brochure for years.
Right.
One of the front cover of a lot of the brochures is Wyatt sitting there with a big smile on his face. Y'all fishing.
Right.
Yeah. I got to thinking about Wyatt. Go ahead, Jonathan.
No. ACC's been a big part of our fishing for a while, and Andy's embraced us as a family, and that's really what's kept us there. He's valued us as a family and what we are, so we're happy to be with him.
That's good stuff. I got to thinking about y'all this week. I see Josh Jones posting his 2.5-year-old son, right, catching crappie and boat flipping them, and I'm like, man, that's got to be, that's the way Wyatt was. I'm sure he was fired up to go. So.
Yeah. So if you were anywhere around the lake, he's gotten a little bit better about being under the radar when we get on good fish. But when he was younger, there was a lot of hooping and hollering going on when we got a fish on the hook there, and I was like, son, you got to be quiet now. They'll all be over here in a little while. So.
That's awesome. We're gonna let you go into the background, Jonathan. There's plaques and trophies behind you. Go ahead and tell your story. How you and your wife started and how you got Wyatt in the boat. Because a lot of people don't know your background. So.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. And this whole crappie thing's transitioned a lot. Especially coming out of the traditional sonars and the forward facing. You got a kind of a new crowd, and the old guys get forgot about sometimes. And but anyway, we've probably been in the competitive side of it for a good decade or so. I don't know the exact number of years, but we've crappie fished forever. I grew up on the banks of the Alabama River, even down there around y'all's parts, and but mainly up this way, cane pole fishing, and just old school as it gets, and kind of progressed from there. And crappie masters used to come through here, and they set some records at that time on the biggest bags that's ever been caught on the river. And I mentioned it to Alicia. Alicia and I have been together for, dating and married wise, have been together for over 20 years now, and we fished together, the whole time. And I said, I'll take a vacation next time they come through, and just go over there and hand them our money, and see how bad we get beat.
Yeah, exactly. I understand.
So, we didn't know anything about it, and we just kind of, emailed them, said, hey, what do we got to do to get in? Can we get in? Of course, we didn't know anything. We're like, yeah, they'll take our money, so. But long story short, right there, we fished a 2-day tournament here on the river / Lake Jordan, and ended up finishing in second place in our first tournament. And then that was it. We went and buying all kind of stuff then.
That started the bug, didn't it?
Spent a lot of money since then. So, but it's gone from there to guiding to, you name it now. So it's been good to us.
Hey, Wyatt, when you go to school and you talk to your buddies about fishing with Dad and fishing tournaments and stuff, what do you tell them? I mean, like, do you say, hey, me and Daddy we go fishing, or do you say, oh, we fish tournaments together? What do you talk to your buddies about when it comes to crappie fishing?
A little bit of both. I usually don't tell them the bad, the fish we lose. I usually just tell them about when we win and, stuff, positive stuff.
That's awesome, man. So go ahead, John.
What did you say, John? Cut out.
Why, do you have a lot of buddies that like to fish too?
Not much.
Yeah, Wyatt, unfortunately, he's unique to it. There's one thing that we want to do, and whether we go out and do well in another tournament or not, which I surely hope we do, and I feel confident we're going to have our day again. But no matter how successful he gets or we get, this is a good platform to get families into fishing, and I don't want everything to be about us and a trophy, but the concept of what we're doing in this boat and giving up a little bit of yourself to bring, a kid up, and it's going to pay out sooner or later in the future, on the water or off.
Exactly. Dippy does that kids outdoors tournament. John Jess is heavy involved. They giving away rods, and I grew up on the river. I had, my first boat when I was 10 years old. I couldn't go but so far fishing. Right. And a lot of kids don't get put in that environment to learn. They just don't know. Most people like, kids like Wyatt are playing video games, and some play sports, thank God. But there's a lot of people that don't get introduced to this. And I was lucky my dad didn't fish much. And I just got on the boat with my buddy's dad, somebody like you and Wyatt, and I jump on the boat and I got into it, and the rest is history,
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes a lot of patience, and I'm gonna credit my wife. I know she's taking care of the baby back there, but she's got a lot more of that than I got, and it's mellowed me out. I do a lot better than I used to. But I'm telling you, when you first put them in the boat, you got to really be patient. I mean, if you're a beginner, that's fine, but if you've been doing it your whole life, you can't expect somebody to jump in that boat and there's going to be tangles to, oh Lord, just anything that can mess up and be messed up. But that kid's having fun. You just got to have fun.
That's right. The good thing is that you're not messing with too much expensive equipment like, bass fishing and $25 jerk baits, so that's right. One good thing about it. I'll tell you, we can go into the tournament. Y'all just finished third at the Mr Crappie Invitational. I mean, it's been 2 weekends ago, I guess, right? Yeah. Y'all came in third against some big-time hammer fishermen. And, I want to know, what you and Wyatt done to find bigger fish. Somebody just asked a question about that. I'm finding numbers because I know you've seen numbers of fish. Now, what did y'all do to really find the bigger fish?
Well, the best I can tell you is I separated it into two things. And we talked pre-show about people like Eric Cagle being in here. Eric Cagle and I, if you sat down and talked to him, we got a lot of similar styles on how we look for fish. So we bump head. Anytime Eric and I fish, especially a black crappie lake, we're going to be around the same type areas and stuff. But there was crappie north to south, as far as you wanted to go. There was crappie, but I started finding out that fish on brush piles were really hard to get to bite. You can tell kind of man-made type stuff, but I kind of got to some roots from back on the river. I found, stump fish, and if I can get a fish in a stump, I can make him bite. And a lot of those fish were not photogenic, and you couldn't see them real good. But I know from my good old Alabama River that if you probe it good enough, somebody will stick their head out of it sooner or later. And that's where I found my bigger fish at, were in stumps and ones you couldn't necessarily see. So I was kind of hoping some people would pass them and not probe them too much. And I guess that obviously it helped out a lot, and I got some bites off of them too. So.
Big time. John's taught me that a lot too, guys. Going with John and listening to him. Hey, and that river, hey, that is the best teacher I think in the planet as far as fish like that. It will, and I really got into it this spring catching them. In those stumps you can't see, and you're bouncing that jig through that stump, and all of a sudden you see a little raise up, and it goes back, and you're like, uh-oh, then you go back again and catch them, and that is getting those fish to move is a cool way to catch those fish.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever seen a stump give birth to a crappie, but it's pretty cool.
I never heard it put that way, Jonathan. That is awesome. You're exactly right.
It'll spit one out, and if you got a perfectly round stump and it's got a lump on it somewhere, it's not a knot on it, it's a fish, all right?
Hey, now, you brought up a good point I think about all the time. I mean, I appreciate everybody that puts out brush. I put out brush.
Right.
Brush. Something about that natural stuff.
I'll hunt to the earth's end to find something that somebody didn't put out somewhere, and if it ain't nothing but a log laying on a flat bottom, I mean, it just seems like, to me, that's my style. But I'm telling you, people can go win it off brush piles, but you got to find your niche and just go, hey, this is what I'm confident in. So
exactly, it panned out for you. And I talked to Steve Coleman, in the show at the expo, and he came by and he's like, we found a log that was stuck on the river ledge, and it had fish just sitting stacked up on it. And I'm like, man, that's same stuff you're talking about.
Yep, and every setup, the bite's different, and that was really breaking down that lake is fish versus biting fish that are not going to help me. So I mean, there was a lot of pre-fishing time. He added a couple of days to it. I think a lot of us would have liked it to be a little less. You go into a tough bite and you got a lot of people probing the same areas. That just gets even tougher by the end of the week. So.
The good stuff gets beat on, and then
you hope it don't. I do flybys like Tom Cruise. I buzz the tower just to see if anybody's around, and I fish it a lot of times. So
that's awesome.
We were fishing the state championship, and Wyatt was there, and we had one place we knew we both were going to mess.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about it. He's like, I'm coming to it. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I said, why not? It's one of the best places on the river, and those fish got their butts handed to them on that.
They got pummeled.
That's awesome. Hey, Chad Gillen's asking, hey Wyatt, I'm fishing the what is that? CRCC Derby this weekend on Logan Martin. I need some advice.
Okay.
On where to start. Wyatt, where do you think you need to start on? On the lake you just finished third on. Did he freeze up?
Oh.
There you go, Wyatt. Finish up there.
Hey,
say it again, Wyatt.
He said he's not sure exact location, but you can kind of help him tell him kind of what we're doing, like some ledges. Well, the areas are like ledges and stump ledges and stuff like that. Would be a good start.
I got you. And that's how you take.
Yeah, we really went down along the ledges and slowly fished all the spots.
Slowly.
Very slowly.
There it is. I mean, a 10-year-old giving you tips right there, Chad. Slowly fishing the ledges, looking for natural structure. I mean, to separate it, that's about as good a tip as you're going to get, buddy. I mean, that's like Aaron Knight just said. That's awesome stuff. I mean, Appreciate it, Wyatt. Like I said, he's fishing the tournament there, and what's crazy, y'all, you don't realize that Wyatt's picking this stuff up at 10 years old, man. I mean, 10 years old, I was worried about hitting where I was trying to cast, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sitting there. A little like my Long John. Hopefully we didn't freeze up.
That's all. You're good. You're free. It don't matter, man. It's it happens.
Yeah, he's picking up, styles and things like that. But I'm looking at him now. We're, next couple of years we want to start. We still got to start working on trolling motor. I want him to be able to get in that boat and go. Time he's a teenager. He's not there yet, but I'm gonna tell you, he's surprised you right now. I promise you he would.
Well, I mean, he seems like an intelligent kid. Yeah.
He is.
He seems like intelligent. I bet he does good in school too, for sure. So John must be getting some phone calls. He's having
honors program and straight A student for sure. Yeah.
There you go. So hey, that just rubs off on the other. That just rubs off on his fishing. I guarantee you, buddy.
Wyatt, if you had a go-to bait, like your favorite thing to throw and fish with, what would it be? Like the color, or
I'm not picking up John right now.
I guess I'm fading out. I was asking it. If Wyatt had a favorite color of bait or anything like that he likes to use.
Shane, I still got you.
Do you? John's asking you what's his favorite color bait that he likes to use? What's his go-to bait color wise?
Well, silver's good, like bright colors.
Well, you like natural colors. Yeah. Look here. You can show them the camera right here.
Yeah, you can pick it up, put it in the camera. Wyatt, show us what it is, buddy.
See where it's at. Can you see that, or has he got to come over there? It is right there.
Move it over. There you go. Okay, I see that's a natural color silver.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking jig.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I can imagine when.
We use a lot of natural colors. More I fish now, I've gone through different styles, but I sometimes get away from a lot of color. I say that, but that Cajun crawfish right there in the river, muddy water, is still a pretty good color. But you can never go wrong with a natural color for sure.
That changes.
Hey, I don't even ask John what he's throwing. Monkey milk. Never mind. I'm Shad monkey milk. I don't even ask him anymore. But
you saw that.
Can't go wrong with monkey milk either. I had them all up here just in case.
Yeah, I bet you. Was you Wyatt and Jonathan? Were you cutting your bait down as you was fishing, or using hand ties, or using little plastics? What were you doing at Logan Martin during the?
Well, that's a good question. We tried to narrow it down. Most successful with smaller hand ties, and
okay.
I anticipated that with September, at least around our parts, down south. September is not a great month to go crappie fishing for the most part. It's tail end of the summer. It don't even have a classification. You got summertime fishing. It's usually that June, July, and then the river put out in August. But as far as lakes go, what do you even call September? Oh, summer's almost over. I'm ready for fall, and fishing's just not real good on lakes, on reservoirs around here for the most part. You can't speak for every lake, but black crappie, they like that water cold. And, it definitely wasn't cold while we were there. So
yeah, the water. Look, John and I talk about it all the time. They're a couple weeks behind as far as water temperature. It's crazy how. I was fishing Demopolis Sunday and the water was 86 degrees. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it hadn't got cold yet. And it'll cool down quick when it happens, but it just hadn't happened yet. I think it's coming next week, though. We're looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
So, why the first day, your dad had to fish by himself because you were at school?
John's having a rough time with it, isn't he?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's different this time. But if you can hear me, Jonathan, Wyatt, the first day.
I heard him just just for a second. Y'all still got me there?
Yeah,
Yeah, we still got you.
I need to tail off and let y'all handle it, but
you got to pay that internet bill, man.
now, man, we
got that AOL dial-up.
It might be the StreamYard connection.
Oh, there's a wildcat. Watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you can go. Try to go out and come back on, John.
I'm gonna do that. Okay.
Yeah, just try to do it. It maybe these things are sensitive, man. When you do live stuff, it's John to drop off and come back in. You know how it is. But like John was saying, you fished the first day by yourself, Jonathan, and you were right there in contention. Where were you at the first day?
Yes, sir.
I knew you was. I couldn't remember. I didn't want to say that. You was in first place the first day. You had what weight did you?
I had 10. I may be wrong, but I think it was 10-17 on the first day.
10-7. That was the first day. So you was setting good. You already had something a little figured out then.
Yeah, and I actually shut down a little bit early the first day. It's a big gamble though. It's like, do you just go all for it? Because the way I was fishing and the way my fish were biting that first day, I could have bumped that weight at least by another 1/10 or 2/10, and I was like, I don't need to push it. And I felt like I had a really, really good weight. I mean, all I could do was trust myself and what I thought was a good weight. And I felt like, when I started the tournament, that anything over 8 pounds was going to make you competitive, and anything 9.5 was going to be like, could put you up there to top 5, and 10 would just be knocking it out of the park. So yeah, that day one was obviously really pleased with it, but I almost overachieved a little bit, to be honest with you.
I hear you. Y'all won big fish too, right? Isn't that correct?
Caught that one. Yeah, caught that.
Y'all had a 206, something like that.
204, I think is what it was.
I knew it was something 20. Yeah, that was good. So Wyatt, I guess Wyatt got to catch some and dip some up with a net, didn't
he? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. Like you told him, what did he tell him, John, was that day 2 when they asked him how many he caught?
He said he called every one of them.
What'd you tell him again? What you told him?
I caught them all in the net.
Hey, Jonathan, can y'all hear? Can you hear me better now that we reconnected?
I'm good now. Yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're a lot clearer, John. I don't know what it was.
So let's talk about this. So, all right. So the first day, people that don't know, Jonathan fished by himself, and Wyatt was in school. So Wyatt, tell us a little bit about what you were thinking about at school that day, worrying about Daddy. He's out there fishing, and you knew he had to do good so you could get on the boat with him the second day.
Yep, I was thinking about everything but schoolwork. I mean,
I bet.
Hardly could concentrate that day. I was very glad when I got off the bus so I could at least watch him weigh in. I was very surprised when I saw him get 10 pounds and the
they're breaking up.
Yeah. Well, you broke up a little bit, buddy. Miss Jessica, my wife, and I, we were pulling for you to get the fish with Daddy that second day, big time. I don't know if we get together. Yeah, we went together then.
So,
I think it's separating our audio chain.
It may do it. Like I said, I think they're running their internet service is bad. Jonathan said he think he's running on his phone, so we apologize for that. But when you do this live, stuff's going to happen. I guarantee you.
Yeah, absolutely. They might have to go out and come back in, but man, I can only imagine being a kid, being at school at his age, and
oh man, I wouldn't know what to do.
Just out fishing, so you can go fishing on the next day. Tournament that big. I mean, that's one of the biggest tournaments there is in the country, and he understands it because he grew up in that culture, and People don't realize Jonathan and his wife Alicia, they were always top notch at the tournaments they showed up to. And they when they started having kids, I think she wanted to step back and let Wyatt, start, getting in there with him, and it's been amazing to go to tournament weigh-ins and talk with Wyatt and meet him, and I mean, he is so poised when he talks to people about tournament fishing and stuff. He's on point. He's not giving you information. He's on point.
Yeah, he's an intelligent kid. Jonathan was saying he's an honor student. You can tell he's thinking about what he's speaking, what he's going to talk about. He's 10 years old. You imagine when he gets 15 or 16, man.
Oh man! And once he gets his foot on that foot pedal and starts getting the feel for it.
Oh man, yeah, he's going to.
Those younger brains. I mean, it's just they're more on point than we are, unfortunately. But it's. I mean, honestly, people call it video game fishing. That's what it is now.
There's Jonathan again. Let's see if we can get him back. Let's see if we can get him back on here.
There we go.
He might have to move around. He said it's.
I see them.
He was giving me a hard time about paying my internet bill.
he froze up and then you come back. So hey, we was maybe it'll work.
Why I said no. Hey, bud. Can you hear us good or not? Or
I don't know if he does or not. If he don't, we may have to try it again one night. We got a lot of information out of you anyway, Jonathan. So yeah, we may have to. We got a lot of information. He said, he said his Wi-Fi was acting funny, and then he's on his cell service, so I'm sure it cycles in and out. So
yeah, if I had to go to cell service here at our house, it would be terrible. Matter of fact, we normally film the in-depth, or record, whatever you call it.
Same thing.
In-depth stuff on Tuesday, and I was getting a new service put in. We had to push it to yesterday, but it all worked out.
Oh yeah. Hey, we recorded it. Hey, put it right out. We went over some tackle in that in-depth series, and hey, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm getting a lot of feedback off that, especially on YouTube and everything. So, like John and I say, if you have something you suggest, you might want us to talk about, in this in-depth series, hey, y'all shoot us a message or, say, hey, I want to know about this and how would you set up this? And I try to ask John questions, that I would want to know if I was listening, because you're trying to pick up on some information to get better at what you are. Let's see if we can add him again.
There we go.
You there, Jonathan? So let's try it again.
Hey, we got a good video on you, bud. Or can you hear us and talk to us?
Walking around doing all I can do to get.
What's that? Talk to me, Goose.
You may have to step outside. Eh?
We have done a pile of videos from the port.
Oh yeah, John used to do a bunch of them from the boathouse down there.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Jonathan?
You got it? Can you hear us? Jonathan, can you hear us, Jonathan?
I don't think you can. We'll just have to try it another night because it looked like he's going to be aggravated.
To us, buddy.
Yeah.
If y'all can see me or hear me, I'm not picking up anything.
Okay.
I'll just boot him off there. Like I said, that ain't no.
We thank them both for the input.
Yeah, hold big time. Hey, well, we got some information out of him. He helped some people out for Logan Martin. We'll just have to add him again when he gets a better service or something. We'll get him back on here. I promise you guys. Let me make sure, see if we got any questions. Somebody from Bangladesh is watching us. You believe that? Looky there. That's awesome, man. Let me go back up here, man. We got so many people on here I didn't get to thank. Scott Seals, Chad Gillen's on here, Melvin Sasser's watching, Dace Givens, Dave O'Mail's on here, Blake McDaniel, Jeff Woods, one of my old co-workers is on here, James Trott, Mark Boland, Michael Clary, John Shores. I think they answered his question. Terrell wants to know. Yeah, Terrell wants to know.
We cannot control the cell service or what.
Oh yeah, no, we cannot.
You got to realize we're blending 3 video feeds together at one time simultaneously, and it can be tough because this is totally live. We're not recording this. That's why we're able to answer your questions live.
Yeah, this thing it is live and it's unscripted, and that's what makes it fun, guys. Mr. Wallace wants to know, John, what is the best water temperature to catch crappie? Does cooler water help the fishing like it does for bass fishing?
I think so. I mean, like today, I saw some 72-degree water and I've been getting some very cooperative fish. Shane and I were on the phone earlier, and I was setting hook pretty regular. So,
yeah, I call John, guys, and I'm not interrupting John. I call him, and I can hear the water splashing in the boat. I don't know if he's putting out bush hooks, and then I want y'all to know. He said, I'm catching pound and quarter fish. I said, I feel sorry for you, John. I really do. I really feel sorry for you. And he said, normally I don't catch this nice of fish, and where he was fishing. And I said, hey.
Yeah. I was trying to do a little brim fishing, and I kept seeing these other fish. I was like, I can't leave them alone. Gotta mess with those. So,
yeah, let's see. John, does a 1022 have a HDMI port? I'm not around my boat to look. It does. It doesn't?
All right. Yeah, to get the HDMI port, you have to go to a different series.
That's right.
22 series.
Gotcha. So mine doesn't have it either. I don't remember that. That's just an Ethernet that I've got, right?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it doesn't. Whether Garmin in the future will do that, I don't know.
Yeah. Let everybody know. Mr. Tommy Keller was asking where Jessica was because we're halfway in the show, and tell her because everybody's wondering where in the world she's at.
It's homecoming that and my wife she gets super excited about decorating anything that's home or anything. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll see the Christmas decorations and the 4th of July porch decorations and the whole. Anyway, she's decorating instead of doing floats at my little boy's school, they do doors. They decorate the classroom door, and she's there doing that. So, but she was very upset. She wanted to be here when Wyatt was on because she gets super excited seeing him be successful.
Oh yeah, let's say Scott Seals got a good question. What wind speed puts you in your wheelhouse? He wants to know,
Right.
What wind speed, like your boat, and of course, in the nose of the boat in the wind. What wind speed you think that is where you're like, man, that's comfortable. I'm casting good. That's a great question.
3 to 5.
There you go.
All right, if you get 3 to 5 on the nose, it's enough that when you're bumping that trolling motor in, you got just enough to push you back. You can just ease into it. When you start getting above there, when you start getting that 10 to 15, then it gets tough. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. Everybody that's fishing crappie tournaments and competitively fishing, they're wanting that 22-foot Ranger, and they're wanting to put sandbags or ladders or something in front of that boat to make the front of that boat sit down. They're doing that because they don't want the front of that boat in the wind to be pushed around. They want to make that cast and when they make the cast, still be sitting in the same spot from when they make that cast. And that's because everything we're doing is straight line. So if you cast wherever that transducer was where you cast, you want to be throwing up that line and bringing the jig back up that line. So people are wanting to get a heavier boat. They can put a lot of weight in the nose to make it sit down. So his question was, what's the perfect wind? If you can get directly downwind and fish something, and you got like a 3 to 5 where you can just bump into it just a little bit downwind, it's easier. Now, if you get slack, like totally slack, like bathwater slack, that's when people tend to run over the pile, and that's when those those power brakes come in.
That's exactly what he was just talking about. So, he commented on down there. So
on a trolling motor, here's the 0 line, and then out here is 20, feet maybe. So you need to watch. You want that 0 to 20 and those fish you're seeing to stay the same. If you start getting too close, you can bump those brakes. But here's where it's advantageous to have those power brakes. All right. So we're within 20, 30 feet of those fish, and it's clear water. Like we've been in a drought. So if you turn that trolling motor around, throw prop wash back toward what you're fishing at, you're going to spook those fish, and they might leave the pile. Whereas if you got those power brakes on the back and you're backing that boat up back there, it's not going to affect the fish that are right there in front of you.
That's Jonathan. John's trying to come on again. Let's try it one more time, guys.
It's cool.
Let's see. Can you hear us, Jonathan? We'll try this one more time. If not, we'll continue on another night. But can you hear us?
I can hear you right now.
Good deal.
Yeah.
How long it's gonna last?
Y'all gave us plenty of information. We'll do this again when when we get better Wi-Fi. We'll pull it off again.
Maybe we go in. Good deal.
He walking outside. Maybe he got a better signal out there.
Hey, bud.
Can you hear us there, Jonathan?
Jonathan,
I think he's.
You might live in the sticks.
Like the door shuts, huh?
Jonathan, he spells his name fine.
Yeah.
H. My mother gave me without H. Called it my whole life.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us, John. Yeah, he can't hear us, so we're not going to sit there and make everybody listen to that old technology's bad. Let's see. Yeah, you was talking about wind and power brakes. I fished a bunch in the wind, and I think Shiloh said he puts 200 pounds of sand in the front of his boat, right?
Yeah, a lot of people do that. They want the front of that boat to sit down. I mean, hey, my big butt and another big butt. I don't know.
We lost John for a second. We having all kinds of fun tonight. There he goes. He must have been getting phone calls or something.
Yeah, Jonathan was trying to call me, trying to figure out what we might. We'll have him on again.
Yeah, we'll have him on again, guys. Hey, like I said, when you he gets. Go ahead, John.
No, you want that front of the boat to sit down as much as it can. So when the wind hits it, it doesn't push the nose of the boat around.
Right. I think.
And these, like my boat's light in the front. It's an aluminum boat, so I'm really having to make sure I come in downwind and not get pushed around. That's why they want those heavier fiberglass 22-foot Rangers. I
think top five, Jameson, he's has 600 pounds, 500 or 600 pounds in the front of his boat. He told me. I kind of looked at him like, what? No.
Top five might have anything. You don't know. He might have mouth thrusters. He might have the mouth thrusters up there. Just turn
Jameson, he's something. I seen old Kobe Vining ask a good question. John Kobe Vining wants to know how you link that MBT 16-inch screen to your live scope. That's a great question, Kobe.
So it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. It was plug and play. I powered it up and replaced the unit I already had, but you have to have a compatible. He can hear us now. All right, so we'll try to bring him. Jonathan just said we can hear us now. Let's try to bring him in again.
Can you hear us, Jonathan?
I walked down through the holler here, and
that's awesome.
I'm standing on a neighbor's porch down here, so I might get.
You Green Acres, you climbing a telephone pole. If you don't remember that old show where you used to get up on the pole.
I don't know how long it's gonna last, so.
That's all right, Jonathan. I appreciate you, but we'll try it again. Like I said, hey, this thing's live, so we'll.
So we good to roll with it now. Come on in here, Wyatt.
Yeah, come on with it. Hey, we're gonna rip it. We're talking about wind, and John's talking about perfect wind speed for these people that's asking. They're worried about boat control. What's the perfect wind? And of course, I didn't think y'all had to deal with it much up there at Logan, did you? During the tournament, it wasn't real windy, was it?
No, we got. I got away from the cat inside. Now he's climbing up the window to try to get outside right now. I'm going to get rid of him. The only reason he stays around because he don't clog my boat seats. But
that cat's got a climbing gear.
Yeah. So the wind wasn't really a factor. I mean, it kind of got up a few times, but we didn't have. So I mean, you could really plow right on top of them, and that wasn't the reason they wouldn't bite. They just didn't want to bite. But the boat
They had a
wasn't
bad attitude.
off, so it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't really a deal. The boat traffic was. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but yeah, and I got no room to talk or cast judgment on anybody, but I don't think too many folks go to church up there on Logan Martin on Sunday morning. So,
Hey, there's a lot of pleasure boaters and bar hopping and everything else going on up there. It is a recreation lake for sure.
it is. It's going to be a booger in June. I think is when we're having our state trail championship, and you better have your eyes peeled. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's legit.
I seen a guy. I don't know if I talked about it last show, Jonathan. I was me and Jack Wright was fishing Saturday at Logan Martin in a stump field, and there was a guy. I had his boat idling pretty fast, and he had little kids with their feet hanging off on the front of the boat. I mean, no life jacket on, and I'm like, where did it? I almost said something to him. I was like, man, if you hit that stump, those kids fall in. You pull it in neutral, the prop's still turning. But yeah. I didn't say nothing. I wanted to bad, but you got to, man, safety, please, guys. I mean, don't do something like that.
I've said for years that there should be an online boating course that people should take.
Yeah.
That cat's trying to get you, ain't he, bud?
He's gonna. I don't know what's going on, but I've seen, and just as much as y'all have been on the water, but just some crazy things, and people are doing with their kids out there on the water, and it's just plumb dangerous, to be honest with you. I've seen stuff I thought I kind of felt bad about later. I was like, I didn't know whether I need to call DHR or what, because there's dang near child abuse out there on the lake. I mean, folks are real trusting too. I mean, when I'm out there fishing, I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, but I see boats that are just floating in the middle of the lake, and they're putting on suntan oil, and they don't check once. So they sure trust everybody else more than I do. But you got to watch what you're doing out there for sure.
It needs to be aware. I know right here in Lakeview, there was some kids on the front of the boat, and the boy tickled the girl. The little girl, jumped out of the boat, prop right to the head. I mean,
yeah,
you can't. I will say that my granddaddy did not play around with no horseplay and no nothing when that boat was running. You were setting your butt down. You were in the middle of the boat, and I think about it to this day, still me. I always take my boat out of gear and let it settle down before I, go to the back of the boat, because, man, you don't never know. I know we kind of got off in a tangent here, but people need to be thinking.
Well,
Go ahead, John.
It's relevant with this 10-year-old sitting right here, and I know we got cut off, and there was a lot we could have been talking about in between there.
That's all right.
But I make a lot of decisions based on him being in that boat, and the guys, John's figuring that out. We've been around each other enough. That 28-degree tournament we had on the river, we fished one spot. I mean, if I'm in the boat alone, I probably haul off and go freeze to death, run 40 miles down the river, and probably catch a few more fish. But I got to decide whether I want to bring my boy up and him, halfway enjoy it, or just run it for him right off the bat.
I was in the same creek with you that morning. It was a cold, windy day. I remember that. Yeah, when we were down there in Prattville, I guess.
Yes, sir.
That tournament. Yeah, you're right, man. You just use your. If you don't really know, ask somebody, man. It's not embarrassing. Hey, man, can I do this or can I do that?
Yeah.
Jonathan, I asked Jonathan about this, and Wyatt hadn't put it in his room yet. So, Wyatt, where did you put your trophy for the Youth Angler of the Year for the state of Alabama? Where you got it on your dresser or hanging on the wall, or where'd you put it?
I hung it on the wall in the front of my room.
Okay.
Here's your little fact. Tell them where do you remember where your first tournament that you got in the boat with us You remember what it was at? Miller's Ferry was the first tournament he got.
Okay.
That he got in the boat. Now he was a little video thing, and I thought you talking about calling DHR. Somebody probably should have called it on me because it was one of them nights where I was like, well, it's not gonna be that cold, and it ended up being a frost on the boat that morning. And we rode a long ways, and he hollered. We had to take. He got so cold. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that you actually had to take clothes off to thaw out, because when your feet get froze, you can't get them unfroze in a boot. When the sun finally came out, you had to take them off. And believe it or not, he went from squalling. He got up, he grabbed his little Zepco, his little cork, and he went to slinging there.
That's awesome.
I think it was going to get that cold.
April is it changed it? March 6th, April 6th?
Ours?
Yes.
April the 6th.
April the 6th. Wyatt, we're gonna need you.
We're gonna need you and Jonathan. Come on down to Miller's Ferry. We're gonna have a shootout down there.
Is it in April now, or is it May? It was May.
It's April the 6th. We're gonna have it April the 6th. A little CrappieKast shootout. We're gonna have a.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna have one down there, Miller's Ferry at Bridgeport. We got the Bridgeport reserved.
There can be some big fish coming in there.
Well, that's the way we planned it. Hey, and to everybody's gonna have a fair chance of catching big fish. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun. Hey, Jonathan and Wyatt will be down there. You're gonna get to meet all kinds of folks, and that's why we planned it that way. I see people, posting their 7 fish on that Rapala scale all spring long. Those people, they better come on, show us some of that. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I got a motto that says the scales don't lie. I can tell you about everything during the week.
Hey man, that's exactly right.
Don't lie when you walk up there.
Jonathan, here's the deal. A cane pole fisherman can beat you that time of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the truth, guys. That is hey, he can hit one bank and catch 14 pounds and come in there smiling like a possum eating sawbriars. Just come in there.
If you know how to catch them shallow, you can beat electronics, and you can't always do it, but I'll tell you another place that's living proof of that. St. John's River, you can get the pants beat off of you. I seen that. Those 2 older gentlemen, that was the funniest interview, guys. I don't know their name, but the guy goes, "What kind of jigs you use?" He looked at his buddy. "Hey man, what kind of jigs were you using?" I mean, it was the awesomest interview when they weighed in all that weight down there. Hey, that's not to deflect off of Alabama, but I appreciate that place, because you can still go down there and finish in the top 5 without electronics on down there, and that's so refreshing. We need a little bit more of that. I enjoy the new stuff. I'm not anti-live scope, but I mean, if you fish for a long time and you caught fish before live scope, you kind of miss it a little bit, So.
Oh yeah, hey, I not too many months ago, Jonathan, I've said this before on the show. I pinched my live scope transducer, and I called John, and he hooked me up with Joey Cook, a transducer doctor, and the fella and his girlfriend that was with me. He goes, "What we gonna do? We going home?" I was like, "No. We finna fish." I'm fixing to take this weedless jig and beat all this brush, and we end up catching almost 40 fish, keeping them. And hey, it was kind of enjoyable, to be honest with you. I mean, I probably caught more fish before live scope than I do now, as far as numbers. I mean, because
you can have endless conversations about it, but if I had to put my money on one thing, the fact is that sonar has changed fish. You can say, well, fishing's not very smart. No, they're not very smart, but they know something's going on with that sonar right there. And, Eric Cable and I talked about, when's the last time that you cast a jig out and the crappie hit it on the fall, which is, a lot of times what you did before live scope. You got to work them a little bit now to get them to bite. You got to get them to chase. You got to jerk, stop it real fast, or do, sometimes it don't matter, but a lot of times it does with crappie. But
Jonathan, it's just like when deer got interaction with humans, and they pass those genetics on to their offspring and their offspring. He's passing those genetics off to there's a reason they're getting harder to deal with, and I feel like that's just the nature of Mother Nature, that they're passing it off. I'm seeing it everywhere we go that the fish are just, you make that wrong dip with that jig and you get it, you might as well make the next catch.
Yeah. I mean, you got one shot, and that's what I told Wyatt when he come down that tournament. When he back up, I know we want to get on that tournament, but he did good right there. Pre-fish, but just like you just said, I told Wyatt, I said, normally he's throwing a lot when we fish these tournaments. When he came down, I said, son, we got one shot at every one of these fish. So that's part of being a teammate, and that goes with two grown people in a boat.
Somebody got the hot hand. You're exactly right.
Got a hot-handed, or somebody's got to change styles. But there's a time and a place where two people casting work. Sometimes going in behind your partner with a jig, and one fish goes to get it, and he turns back around and he sees the other one come by, he just swipes and gets it. But that one right there, John, you hit it on the head. You got one chance at it. The rest of the 30 minutes or 45 minutes, you might as well have been in there doing some paint.
And if you booger up the fish, the hot fish on that pile, I mean, they're boogered up, and they'd already been messed with by everybody else before you. So.
Right. I guarantee, because Logan Martin's not a big lake, and you got 50 anglers, 45 anglers, some good anglers, and they're beating some water down, so you and Wyatt had the odds stacked on you, I talked to Eric, and he was making a joke. He was like, man, I know where every stump, creek, log, bog, he knew where everything was, at the end of the.
And he's not lying. It's insane. I go turn my graph on and look at the coordinates on it. It looks like what I got here at Lake Jordan, and he really broke it down. I mean, the probably the harder part about it was just saying I'm not going to fish. I couldn't fish a quarter of what I found. So it was really crunch time on like, hey, these are like 2 or 3 spots that I think I can win it, and I got to put mule blinders on, and and that could have cost me the tournament in itself. There may have been another spot or two I needed to go to, but you got to make a decision at the end of the day, and and go with it. So,
how far a run did y'all make, Jonathan? What did y'all fish? Y'all fish a different area or one certain area, or
we fished about mid-lake. Wasn't a bad run at all. Now the first day when he wasn't in the boat, I left straight from blast off, and I run all the way south to would have been that would have been Lay Dam, right?
Yes, there you got Clear Creek on your left there before you get there, and that's
well I don't know. You got Neely Henry to the north and Lake to the south, right?
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah, well, that would have been Logan Martin Dam right there. I'm just spitting out all kind of stuff right now, but Logan Martin Dam, and I was the only boat that I saw around there, and that's always one of those age-old. Either I'm fixing to look real good or real dumb, and and I left there after that long run with one fish that was under a pound. So I'll tell you how the day started out. And had to kind of get back where I knew I was going to fish, and picked up, when I finally picked up my 7, I hit that big fish somewhere in between there, and it just kind of like, I'm putting it in low gear right now. And then, I mean, I had about 30, 45 minutes to an hour. I went to work, and I called every fish I had in there, some of them 2 or 3 times, and I had to stop at that point. But, that's really was what got us through. Basically at that point, we just needed decent days, to be honest with you, to push on through to 3, day 3.
So there's a tournament coming up down there, a 4-day tournament. They're going to let you do 4 faces on all.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got some theories on how to, in practice, how to goals you can do spider rigging back in the day that.
I hope I'm not about to lose y'all again.
No, John's freezing up now.
Okay.
I don't know why John's got a new internet service down there, so you froze up there, John, for just a second.
So you talking about spider rigging?
Thinking about fishing that 4-day tournament where you
I would love to go down there. The problem is it's a 4-day tournament.
I know, right? And then
Yeah,
you go.
that-
We need to, hey, I'm all for a non I don't know what you want to call it, non-forward facing sonar.
yeah, that's it.
I just say make it either or, but I fully support that, and I'm gonna tell you now, I got to breed my A game nowadays, but now I felt like, Wyatt got a little bit. I feel like we do. I feel like we can go down there and make some noise pushing them rods out the front. Now we got the hardware from them days.
I've got some ideas how to use in practice.
Every time he goes to tell that story, he freezes up.
It don't want
In the same spot. It don't want to come out.
He's got some theories, but we're not going to hear him.
Every time he says theory, he just cuts off.
Yeah, don't say theory, John.
Yeah. I guess I'm not smart enough to say theory, but
No, it says theory and freezes. You freeze up. Whoop.
yeah. But anyway, I've got some ideas. I think that you can take some new stuff and be successful in practice if you make some good notes. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The good news is that place is covered up with fish.
Alicia and I had a pretty sure it was a top 5 in Talquin years ago, spider rigging while they was pulling. As a matter of fact, Eric Cagle and Wade McDonald went down there and beat the tar out of everybody one time, including me. So
Yeah.
we swapped
remember
good
that.
trips down there. The first time Wade and Eric went down there, we stayed in the same room, and we had a good tournament, and theirs was so-so, and then turned around next year, went down there. Ours was not real good, and they knocked it out of the park, and they got their first win then.
Somebody got a good question for you. Wyatt, what did you buy with some of your earnings from the 3rd place finish? What you got planned for that money, Wyatt?
I don't know. Right now, I just put it in my bank account.
Hey,
For something big.
Hey, I will tell you, that's real life. It happened. That kid walked in there with a check for in the thousands
I understand.
into a bank, and they were like, "What?"
That is an awesome story, man. That kid got a massive, a pretty good check. I mean, 3rd place paid pretty good, I'm sure. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean, I'm not ashamed of it. That was our biggest purse. So we got 18,000 total.
That's awesome, man.
And I want
Hey,
to brag
you know,
about that, not just for us, but just for Wally's tournament. I mean, there's a lot of nitpicking on between trails, and that, I would like to hit just subtly that while I'm on here, but that's good stuff right there. It's high risk, high reward, but I mean, you get to day 3, I've gone home on day 2 a couple times. All right, so when you get to day 3, that's real.
oh yeah, it does. It gets there for sure, man.
being able to Eddie out with some boat gas for future tournaments. I mean, do that.
Well, all my gas money went into this new boat.
Yeah, Jonathan sold his old Ranger. He had a 198 with a 150. He sold that thing. How long did it take you, Jonathan? I heard it was just a couple of hours, wasn't it?
3 hours. I had a guy on the phone with car, this and that, and the car people talking about this and me gone. Might buy it or not, but I had an old client call and said we want it, hold on to it, and that's what happened. So.
Good deal. You know what kind of boat you're going to? Can you say yet? Or
yeah, I've been working with the airport real close. I didn't know I was going to. I'm going to tell you right now, John knows this. There's a lot of good stuff. And
he's break.
Say Andalusia. I think
he's breaking up. You're breaking up so bad we can't hear you now.
Stand up. Stand up.
Yeah, you're breaking up so bad right then.
Yeah. All right. Repeat the last minute. We'll pick up on what.
Yeah. Well, you sold your Ranger boat. What boat do you say? You said Airport Marines got you a deal worked out on something.
So, working with Vex is
okay, there you go.
So the 2080, the concern I had with Vexus, the only concern I had, and I think concerned a lot of people, was the how quick the front deck tapered on it. Well, if y'all don't know, the 24 model is they're keeping it wider up there at the front pedestal, which is a really big. So that I might have more room up there. I'm looking forward to getting of it. Hopefully, sharing.
There you go.
Being a part of Vexus, we'll see how long it goes.
There you go. Well, we that's awesome, man. I appreciate y'all being on the show. We're gonna wrap this thing up. We done been on here an hour, believe it or not, with all the technical difficulties and everything. So,
hey,
appreciate you, Wyatt. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I wanted to hit on this, and we'll end on a positive note. But if anybody's watching out there that follows Facebook and competitive fishing, especially if you're involved in it, let's be positive out there, y'all. Let's encourage others.
Amen.
Let's celebrate other people's victories, okay? You can't always win, but you're not going to grow this sport by pointing at this person or this person or this trail or this trail. That's not going to do anything. And
you're exactly right. That's 100% right.
Let's be positive and realize that you got little kids like this one right here that's coming up, that we have to shield their eyes from grown people on Facebook. And
amen. You're right.
Y'all, if it hits you right here and you say you might be talking to me, hey, just do better. How about that? Just do a little bit better.
I agree with you 100%. 100%, guys. There's tours that want to do this, that, and the other. And hey, I hear people dogging forward faces sonar, and I'm like, buddy, I made a comment today, and we'll end the show. If you're not building a boat out of a log and you're not with a paddle and you're not using a cane pole, you're using technology. And you may be using older technology, claiming yourself old school, but I'm not going to dog anybody, just like crossbows hunting and everything. Whatever gets you outdoors, I'm down with it, buddy. If it's legal, use it, You
follow your laws and you do what you're supposed to do, and that's the end of the sport.
That's right. Shane, I'll tell you this. If you want your heart warm, come to a weigh-in, smile on Wyatt's face, and just out with him for a little bit. That'll warm your heart. It's not just him; it's the other kids and people we see fishing these tournaments. Just hang out and see that, and that should make you want to do better.
Exactly. That's why we started this whole CrappieKast.
Encourage people. We don't always have to agree on everything. We can be better, and especially social media. When we got visitors watching what we're doing, we don't look good when we're negative. So you're
exactly right. Hey, you're exactly right. I mean, I tell everybody I am
right there at the end.
You're right. I'm the world's best cheerleader, man. I cheer for everybody. If you're doing better than me, I want to know what you're doing. I'm not a hater.
Losing if you can hear me.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, bud.
We're going to get on off here. Thank you, Jonathan Wyatt. We'll have them on again when we get a better service, guys. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, buddy.
Man, I hate that we didn't have a better service with him.
Oh, it's okay. He got a lot of information, guys. I appreciate all y'all bearing through all that stuff, man, guys. We had technical stuff and popping, but you're going to have that with these shows, man. And
if you ever get to have a chance to be around that young man,
yeah, that's exactly right.
He is so excited about fishing with his dad, and the smile on his face will just warm your heart. I don't know. To say that Jessica was super disappointed not to be here tonight and get to do this, she wanted to be a part of this.
Oh yeah, I meant to say
other parents are trying to get their kids into it. If you've got a kid or a grandkid or anything, get them involved with it and don't burn them out. If you go to the first part of the tournament and it's hot and it doesn't work out, hey, go do something with them. Take them back to the ramp. Let them do something for a minute. Keep them involved with it. Don't burn them out. It's just, man, it just warms my heart to see these kids fishing these, anything to do with fishing.
Exactly, man. I like it too. I try to stop at gas stations when people ask me questions, and I've got time. As long as a client's not waiting on me, we started this whole thing to spread positivity, catching fish. The guy I ran an electronic strip with yesterday, John, we got him tuned. He said he had 5 keepers. He sent me a message earlier. That's the first fit crappie he's put in his new boat, and he's on fire. You know what I'm saying? You're like, man, I spent a couple hours with the gentleman and got him tuned in, and that's what's fun, man. And I meant to give old Pops Jig a shout out on here on the show. He done sent me some confetti blue. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's got a little blue tint to it. Hey.
I guess me and Paul's are hanging out. We was tying jigs together.
Hey, I ordered some jigs and
he's like, John ties on jigs.
Hey, Jim hooked me up. I ordered some jigs. So, hey man, let me get a dozen of these. He said when I get through it, Jim drives a truck for a living, and Shiloh's telling a story about him tying jigs in his room and stuff. So man, that man's hard at it. So John, you're gonna have to get you some. I guess it's like
I can't. Cool kid lives like you are.
Hey, we want to thank Lemons Tackle. Steve's always been good to us. We gave a ton of baits away. Pops jigs. I mean, guys, if y'all send it to us, we're gonna throw it and use it and give you a shout out, man. We catch fish on. We're gonna tell people we caught fish on. So we'll tie this show up. You know, ain't that right, Johnny? Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey. If it works, we'll talk about it. If it doesn't work, then we'll just won't talk. I mean,
we won't talk about it. Hey, we don't want to say any really negative stuff on this show at all. I mean, we might slip, especially me, but hey, we're not gonna dog anybody's stuff, because whatever gets you there and gets you fishing, hey, I'm down with it. Appreciate y'all, John. Appreciate you being on here again. Appreciate y'all being patient with all the technical stuff going on with John and them.
Again, we saw, they're probably like piping in service like we are down here in the country where I'm at. It's tough. We'll try to have them on again. I don't feel like this is going to be the last time they're successful.
Oh, no.
I feel like they'll kick mine and Jessica's butt again this year, and we'll have them on again and talk about how they whoop us.
That's awesome. We'll get them on there again, man. Hey, the good news is Big Daddy, the cell phone tower behind Big Daddy's house, they turned the thing on. I bet he hadn't slept a wink if he's still on here. Hey, that phone's burning up. He has got some service, son. He was on fire about it, and he's gonna get him an iPad and do some live shows himself from his house, and talking about getting him a fire pit. So hey, Miller's Ferry may have service, guys. Where it's kind of sketchy up through there, so you'll be able to send fish pictures and talk on the phone at least. So. That's good stuff, man. Appreciate y'all, John. Hang out after this show, Johnny. We'll end this thing. Appreciate everybody again. We'll be back Thursday, 7 p.m. as always. John and I do the in-depth series coming out. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcast. We're also put it on YouTube. Appreciate y'all guys tuning in. See y'all next Thursday.